Right, what's going on, everyone? Sorry it took me a little bit to get set up. I'd been in Virginia, got back into Dallas yesterday, and just kind of getting everything set up again into my my normal setup. I'm gonna be taking questions from the Discord and Discord only. If you guys can drop them in at Tales of the Crypto. Real quick, let's do a sound check. How's my audio? Audio's good, awesome. Are we getting any video lag or anything? Didn't adjust some of my screens real quick. All right, all is good. Well, I'm gonna start off by diving into Bitcoin. You know, BTC. What is going on? Or XBT. We'd sent out in our newsletter, and I highlighted some support some support areas, and it seems like we dove through all three of them. You know, first one was around 8K, second was at 77, and third was 75, and today we're at 73.99. So we're seeing a little bit of an acceleration. I was hoping to see a higher low set in on an oversold RSI, but we haven't seen that yet. And I'm not quite confident we can call this double bottom. This is a 4-hour chart. ADX is at 21, so we're not going to see much acceleration here. I was looking at this on various time frames earlier. ADX seems to be at a 30 on the 12-hour or 28.29. So we're almost past that level of acceleration of a downtrend. If you go to a 1 day, might be where we at. 1 day we're at 33. So as for ADX levels, you know, an accelerating downtrend is going to be around 24.25. We might not see further acceleration where it drops sharply, unless there's just another massive sell-off. The bottom red line I have is the previous bottom. Can you guys see this? And what I'm looking for is some kind of hidden divergence or a divergence at these lows, right? If we can get more oversold on this exact bottom once again, that would be great, because that would give us the divergence, but we're not quite there yet. So I'm going to add stochastic and just essentially get a better idea of what we're dealing with. And we're seeing a less oversold at this level on the Stoke. We're not quite in the extreme yet. Yeah, adjust some of these settings real quick so they're more visible for you guys. Let's just save as default. So stochastic wise, we're starting to enter that extreme. If you can get a head turn here, we'd be able to call this like a hidden bullish divergence, but we're not quite there yet. So it is too soon. You know, I did mention in the newsletter that we're trading in the chop once again, and I dislike margin trading in choppy markets because it's just there's no confirmation. But you know, on a more positive note, I've been talking about alts and how we're going to see some rallies. We did have a couple of trading ideas go out. AMP made pretty good gains. What else did we put out? Pivx made a massive jump up, and a couple others, and I'll go into those a little later on. One thing I wanted to highlight is BTC dominance and what's happening with the market right now. And I'm just on coin market cap here, but I'm in the market cap charts, and our current market cap is holding slightly above where we were on the last dip to this low. It was at 279. We're currently at once again 280, so barely above. And if you look at total market cap excluding Bitcoin, and we go back a little further when we had the February low, right? At the 5800 BTC low in February, we're actually trading below that level right now. Alt wise, the market cap of all the alts combined, excluding BTC. But this is where it gets interesting. The total market dominance. BTC is at 45%, and we're seeing alts in this climb. I don't know if you guys see this, the white line. Kind of just hovering over it right now. You know, the majority of alts, others, everything, you know, except the top ones listed here. So that Nem, Monero, IOTA, and all that, they're up to 20%. And it's rising along with BTC dominance. So money isn't exactly just leaving the market, it's also getting redistributed. That's why I said we're gonna see like an incoming rally, and that was on the climb. This was last week or so when I published just when I landed in Virginia. So it was like 10 days ago exactly. So we're gonna see a little bit of a rally, and we had seen alts go down, and up until the 18th, till today, we've seen alts recoup. They go in, gaining another 4% in market dominance, while BTC is gaining dominance. Now, what does that tell us? I'm gonna go ahead and zoom out further back. We're seeing a bounce in alts. When I say alts, I don't mean all alts, but in money shifting towards altcoins. And we're still at levels comparable to January 1st when alts were going up to a peak. Now, it is too soon to say, you know, oh, it's going to be a sustainable alt rally or not, because, you know, BTC's in this uncertain territory. But one thing we've noticed when BTC's trading in this range, we're seeing alts increase in value, alt dominance go up. And if we're in this market to extract value, and whether we want to increase our BTC holdings and in a choppy BTC, alts are looking like a good tool to do so right now, especially with this 4% climb in the last 11 days. Now, not all alts are going to do that, but yeah, the ones we've highlighted, and there's going to be other ones that are gaining. Any questions on Bitcoin, on market dominance, on anything I've covered so far? And if you guys are going to leave me these questions, please make sure you're dropping them off in our Discord. If you're on Facebook and YouTube, you're going to have a link to Discord, so it's going to be in the description. Just click that and ask your question in there, please. No questions? All right, no questions. I'm going to move on. And I'm going to cover some of the latest trading ideas we've published, and starting from the freshest. So we did Encash. Well, this one is still forming. The pennant entry was at now, which was yesterday 6:02 a.m. So it's still within this range, but we're seeing this really nice bullish pennant develop here. It is too soon to be able to put on indicators on a daily level, so we're gonna go to a 4-hour chart. And we don't quite see a divergence here. Right, we've got an extreme high. This thing still looks healthy. We published this trade idea yesterday, 0 day, and it's actually a pretty dang good one. And this should be one of the alts that actually, you know, is gonna gain value. The chart looks pretty bullish right now. If you guys watched our chart patterns workshop, we clearly see a pennant developing. We've seen a lot of these tokens that get newly listed on exchanges go into these pennants and then develop a massive breakout. This looks nice. This is a beautiful setup. So Encash is still in play. First target's 465. Second target is 540. Stop loss is 373, right? So being able to get into this bottom of the range right here or along this pennant is pretty good. Getting in on the support line of this pennant for the breakout. And then a stop would be below, so 373 is a pretty good one. I'd like to thank Zero for posting this trade idea. It's pretty solid. And there's next one would be Pivx. We've been watching Pivx for a couple of weeks, and it is actually just starting to had started to make moves. Let's go to 1-day chart. It's on Binance. New listing. So we had seen a bull flag that we signaled in at 56. Oh, and we got stopped out on Pivx. Well, not quite. 4,800 is the stop, but they've got a lot happening on Pivx. The FAs there, they're releasing an iOS wallet, a ZPIV, and they also have a couple of protocols that are unique to Pivx, where their wallet is going to be somewhat of an exchange, a decentralized one. So that is pretty interesting. That's going to be released fairly soon. Last I spoke with the Pivx team, it was going to be third quarter, first quarter of this year. So it's almost out. Also published on Sub. Stop loss is at 4K. It's still range trading. It is still range bound. So there's not much I can say about it currently. As far as divergences, they're not there. We're still in the middle of a range. We do see a little bit of a div on the stochastic, but it hasn't broken out. Except I'm gonna go into AMP. That was in our strong TAFA channel. Got an AMP at 45, got out at the 6K range. That was pretty good. I believe Lucas and a couple other guys sold the top for a good 20% plus. On that trade, AMP should be closely 49%. So actually that's not right. 45K. So yeah, a good 33% on AMP was bagged. Let me go back to the BTC chart. I posted a pic where everything seems to support BTC is not going up. Vertile, let me go ahead and see that. before BTC goes up, we want to see probably another round of capitulation or a divergence. It's not just gonna magically go up on its own. The times it had been doing that had been divergent, and it would fail to maintain the new highs, right? But for a while, we're seeing sell-offs being countered by buy-ups. So here we had a sell-off, and it got bought back just as fast for a new high, and then back down. So it's still choppy, and we want to see some kind of reversal formation or a massive divergence on BTC before it starts going back up. And realistically speaking, you know, even here at Generation Crypto, we were not expecting Bitcoin to go up this fast from the 5K range all the way up to 20K. We were not expecting that, and this rally from CBOE to CME, going up from 8 to 20 was just way too fast, right? So I think we're bound to range trade. Range trading on BTC, or maintaining this massive range, is going to allow alts to rally again, and that's what we're seeing. Alts are gaining that market share, the market dominance, up to 20%, as I was showing on the market cap chart. Well, guys, I'm gonna take some TA requests. If you can drop them in at Tales of the Crypto on our Discord, I'll take 3 coins at a time. I mean, just because we're oversold on your chart, Veritile, doesn't mean we're gonna go up. We want to look for a divergence. Looking at a 1 hour chart, just because something is oversold on a 1 hour does not mean it's just gonna go up. And there's probably another divergence here, right? But buying in before confirmation would be just too soon. Now, if like ADX starts turning and we get a green candle or a reversal formation, that would be tradable data. But until we get further confirmation that we're going up, it's not just gonna go up because it's oversold on a 1 hour. Well, guys, altcoins. Give me some altcoins. I'll cover them. If you can drop them into Tales of the Crypto, I will take your altcoin requests. I would not buy back into AMP at this point. I'll actually cover AMP a little bit. Well, guys, awesome. Alright, there's 3 requests, and then I'll ask for more once I'm ready. So I'm gonna cover XRP. So XRP is going to be one of those coins that I'm going to currently stay away from right now. Why is that? Well, it's retraced a lot, right? If you're just going to judge it on RSI on a 1 day, We're an oversold. We're an oversold again, but it doesn't quite look like it's found bottom, right? A lot of people are saying, "Oh, I'm buying bottom for a double bottom," and then they don't sell on the dead cat bounce, and they get stuck in a new bottom, a new low. So as for XRP, it doesn't look great right now. If you're a buy low, sell high person with no confirmation, that strategy is not going to work in these market conditions when a chart is retracing. Now, where can we possibly see a bounce, right? On the USD chart. The reason I'm looking at an XRP on USD is because it seems to be want to transition into a fiat on-ramp, off-ramp. I mean, fib level wise, it's crushed below the 61.8. It held there, and then it is not looking very healthy. Let's go on a BTC chart. It's looking almost the same. And once again, we are below that 61.8 fib level. Now, if we were to look at it on a long term, right, we see these two highs on a daily chart. And we see somewhat of an oversold level up here. Trying to hunt down a divergence. Well, I think it's too soon for Ripple, especially on a USD chart and a BTC chart, because it could sustain these levels on this low of an RSI, right? But it could go oversold some more, and we could see like a dead cat bounce. It is a little too soon. It looks very much like the same type of price action as its previous wave on a daily on a BTC, where you got one peak followed by another, and then a micro rally. I don't know if that's it. So I can dive further into Ripple. It looks like it's doing something like Vertcoin had done in the past, setting up for like a bigger boom. Show you guys what I'm talking about. It's looking like it's doing one of these for XRP, but up until we get further upwards price action, it is way too soon for me to be bullish on Ripple. Tron, TRX. Tron's looking pretty healthy. When's the mainnet release on Tron? Are you trying to sell me the project, or are you trying to tell me when the mainnet release is? Trunks. There we go. That's what I asked. Thank you. So, fib levels wise, I'm trying to see where we're finding most confluence, and it's not going to be here. Way too ambitious. So we might see get near future top of by limit orders, right? But I mean, I'm not quite sure we're gonna see a new high on Tron just yet. It's got some of these levels to break through. If you guys are anybody bagging Tron, a good stop would be at 561. And you know, some fib targets are going to be the next extension levels up. Let me look at some moving averages, put on a daily. I mean, here we're actually seeing a bearish divergence on the 12-hour on Tron. Seeing a lower high on RSI and a much higher high on the chart. So I would bag Tron carefully. Check on volume here. Whoa, it's a lot of volume. So, a lot of volume, like 21,000 BTC, BVOL is going to be indicative of short selling. This thing's moved up on divergences. It's odd. I would just tread lightly here. Yeah, there's a mainnet release, but tight stop losses and market, and these market conditions would probably help out. Are you even seeing the div on Bittrex? 6,000, still high volume. Right, next up I'm going to cover AMP, when I would buy back in AMP. So we still don't quite see a divergence based on these last couple of highs on AMP. I would most likely wait for an oversold level or for a new div to develop. I mean, this was somewhat of a bear div, and it traced down and it made a new high. I mean, it's back at my original entry price. I'd consider it. I'd probably keep an eye on it, check on volume and stuff. Volume's 210. Let me check Poloniex 34. This upwards price movement was for a coin burn, I believe. So I'd wait a bit to assess it. There's no need to FOMO in a lot of these charts. Alright guys, taking more alts. Give me 3 more altcoins. Ouch, DRX, we see a pennant break down, right? This was a perfect pennant. So ZRX was pre-breakout. I had bagged some, and I believe I'm still bagging some ZRX. Go to a 1-day chart. Well, on a 1-day, it does not quite look that bad, except for moving averages here aren't going to be very visible. There we go. So we had seen a death cross on ZRX back on February 2nd, but it had seemed to pick up some steam, and moving averages started converging upwards again, with the short term breaking above our medium term, right? And we still have the 50-day MA that we need to break above, but this looks pretty good for a long, right? Not quite I'll cover Saya. we want to see this price action maintain. Now, if we do see another MA cross downwards, that would not look good. But if we can maintain this, or ZRX can maintain this price action, let's go to 12-hour, see what we're looking at. Yeah, this is looking good. ZRX is looking pretty good for another entry. So I might bag some more. And I hadn't gone out on this wick. This was a really ambitious wick. This thing happened in minutes, 20 minutes or so. But here we're looking and we're seeing accumulation. I looked at it on a I thought it was a BNB chart. Maybe it's not trading on BNB. We definitely see accumulation on ZRX, so that's good. Saya returned to below stop loss levels, right? And once again, we see another pennant. And we're starting to see this over and over on several coins, where we see a pennant set up, and then over the next couple of days, either it breaks up or breaks down. Well, if we dive deeper, this does not look like a pennant. Sorry, guys. Let's try to find a divergence and see what's really going on with Saya. A lot of the smaller coins, if something like Saya, some of the cheaper ones, if we see an upwards or a downward swing in BTC, it's really going to impact that trade idea. Because it's not being traded for a constant value, people will get scared out of the cheaper coins and back into BTC for holding that asset. I'm gonna go to 12-hour, check my moving averages, and they're starting to break upwards once again on a 1 day. We're probably not quite fully open yet, not yet. These are things that we want to look for these incoming rallies, is these moving averages breaking upwards. EOS looks good. That is really bullish of EOS. Go ahead and set up. Fib levels, it is recouping. There's a 61.8 retrace. It dipped below, wick back up. Looks fairly healthy. Let me check on divergences. There is no divergence on the 1 day. And here we see a pennant break down and then recoup and move back up. So this is one thing I was trying to cover earlier, is we're gonna see these a lot of these failed pennants because of the BTC's price action, how it impacts the market, right? We're gonna see these pennants develop, and even if they were jaded, and even if we see a failure to break upwards, right? It is very important to keep an eye on a lot of these charts, because they're not just going to move up. If BTC pulls down, right, and has a pullback, we're very much likely to see big holders dump out and go back into BTC to hedge, and then the market recovers and it picks back up to where it wanted to go. EOS looks like a pretty good entry to me right now. Because it's trying to clear out of this this resistance level. Right, which actually pretty close. So I'm going to keep an eye on this, probably for a trade idea. Just going over the trade idea briefly with you guys would be a break above this resistance level or a retrace back to support. believe I just covered how I would trade this. I would wait for it either to break resistance or to pull back towards support. And then buy it at the bottom of the range or at the break of the range, not at the top of the range for a retrace. Alright guys, give me a couple more alts. Taking one more round of 3 altcoins. I'm using neither EMAs or HMAs. I use what I call my proprietary moving averages. I actually didn't come up with these, but I did come up with these. So they're a mixture of of MAs and WMAs. Yeah, thank you. I find these to actually be the most valid ones for the crypto space, especially on longer time frames. None of that 50 over 200. It's too much for crypto. We're too volatile for that. Alright, so I'm moving to Lumen. Right, we see these several rejection wicks, right? This thing is very much likely to head back upwards. Let me look at RSI. Let's go to maybe not quite yet. I'm fundamentally bullish on lumens, right? But the chart doesn't quite show that, but we are seeing these massive wicks on a 1-day chart, and that's essentially price rejection, and I like seeing that. I'm actually holding quite a bit of lumens long term, and let me see what it looks like on a BNB chart. Nope. What's interesting about Lumen is it is still maintaining above previous levels of support. What happened to those wicks? That was just on Binance, huh? That was weird. That massive wick was just on Binance. We do see a hidden divergence. We're not quite an oversold yet. I'm not seeing bullish action on Lumen, right? It's not like we saw EOS or some of the other pennants, so it's not gonna have a whole lot of momentum right now. And that being said, I would rather hang on to tokens with momentum that are actually gonna move up in a certain time frame than hang on to ones that are gonna go sideways or that are headed down or that have no sense of direction, right? It's like getting in a car, you know, with a destination in mind versus just blindly getting in, sitting down with a blindfold. I'd rather get in with a destination in mind. So Lumen, I'm not gonna say it looks, you know, super bearish, or it looks like it's range trading. It's not showing as much confidence as some of the other coins we've covered today. Bcash. I'm not a fan of Bcash, not fundamentally, not technically. I think this thing is a ripoff. It's a cash grab. With everything happening with Bitcoin going on Lightning Network, transaction fees are so low. It's fast. There's no more room for Bcash to dominate. So I don't see it going bullish anytime soon, unless it's another one of these pump and dump schemes. So I would not bag any. Zcash. I'll cover Zcash, Litecoin, and BAT for you guys that tuned in late. Same thing with Zeke, right? Just downtrend. One of my main rules is you don't want to be trading. You don't want to be longing something in a downtrend. Litecoin is showing a little bit of a bullish divergence, right? And we're seeing higher lows and higher highs on a BTC chart. For like BTC accumulation purposes, it does look interesting, especially at these levels after this massive sell-off. Look at it on a USD chart. And once again, it's at the bottom of a range. We had seen a W bottom formation here. Let me see what we're looking at divergences wise. Oversold, 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 oversold. So we want to wait for it to bounce, or you know, personally, I'm not a fan of Litecoin. Fundamentally, I'm just not. It is designed to be spent. I don't like coins that are designed to be spent, you know, like Litecoin. Looking into BAT. That was looking fairly nice, right? We had an upwards breakout, and that breakout was actually divergent on a rising wedge, and I pulled out of there when I was still in Virginia a couple of days ago. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Yeah, this divergent rising wedge up to here. I actually pulled out somewhere in this range, and I'm waiting for a re-entry on BAT. I don't think it's over. Right, if we were to negate this wick, let's go to 1 hour. We see a massive rising wedge, really powerful one too. And then the whole thing was divergent. ADX peaked at 63, turned back around. I would wait for another bull div, right, or for it to find more support. I like BAT long term because it's like revolutionizing internet marketing and advertising. And I'm going to go to my moving averages, see what it looks like on a 12-hour and a 1-day. The 1-day, we still haven't seen that upwards break. One thing we know about BT is it does not fake out my moving averages on a 1-day. Now it'll do them all day on a 4-hour, on a 6-hour. On a lot of the smaller time frames, we'll see these fake outs on moving averages. Let's show you guys, right? Like so many fake outs, especially right here. We see the short term break above the medium term. Even both of them break above the longer one, right? So I like looking at BAT strictly on a 1-day time frame. I like what I'm seeing. Let me look at the 12-hour. We might see another upward swing, right? So that massive wedge I was talking about in the bigger picture looks like it's part of a pennant. And this is the rally I was talking about, right? We had a little bit of a BTC price action upswing from the 8,400, or you know, up to that 8K range from when I posted on it, up to 9K 91. And then now, you know, we're seeing altcoins gain market dominance. We're seeing some of them break out of that bearish cycle, and start to converge upwards with their moving averages. Johnny, I'll cover ENJ shortly. And then, this is another pennant. We saw a couple of coins break down and then move back up. So these are the coins that we're going to be looking at. Things that are in an uptrend, things that are that have moving averages that are pointed up. And I'm just going to add an RSI here real quick. It would have been beautiful if this thing was crushed at a lower RSI. ADX levels on the 12-hour at 34. It could run up. It could run up to that 50 level. That's where it really likes to break down, between 43 and 52. Go to 1 day. ADX is at 24 on a 1 day, so we might see some acceleration on BAT. We just need more volume, right? There's not much volume happening here. Go to Binance. Binance is showing a lot more interest in BAT. ADX at 24. So BAT is looking pretty good right now. I'm going to cover ENJ for the final token. Now, ENJ looks, we're seeing the moving averages move up, right? But if we look at ADX levels, it's actually at 14 on a 1 day, which is not indicative of a very strong trend, right? Unlike BAT, which was at 24. So I'm not gonna say we're likely to see a trend acceleration here, maybe a range play out. Go to a 12-hour. And I don't see any price action in the extreme, so it's gonna be pretty hard to judge. But we also see that not quite a pennant. I'm not quite sure what to make of that. Maybe a bull flag. So it had broken down on a bearish div on a 3. Let's go to 4. It looks interesting. It looks like it wants to uptrend. Moving averages definitely show an up, it wanting to go up. On a 1 day, on a 12-hour, it's just the ADX levels are a little low. It looks range bound, just like tight stops in these market conditions for another valuation. I do see a nice inverse head and shoulders right here. So it actually, up until we see another bearish confirmation or a reversal type of setup, this thing looks like it's headed up. I'll go ahead and show you real quick. Yeah, I could even knock this head all the way down. Now the problem here is it pulled back below that first neckline I drew. Maybe our neckline's a little lower. That's the problem here. There's so many massive wicks. Go to on a 12-hour, maybe on a 4-hour. It's more obvious. So we might see another retest to like the 14, 15. If we do and it continues up, then the inverse head and shoulders is in play, and this thing is likely to make gains until another reversal setup presents itself, or formation. Volume looks pretty good here too. It's not in like the 20,000 or 10,000 range, so there's not a lot of short selling happening here, not quite yet. So ENJ looks pretty good, with this formation in play as well. Well, guys, thank you for tuning into this Power Hour. If you have questions, we'll probably host another one later this week. If you want to join our Discord, get in with Woodsy. He's our moderator. He'll help you get set up. He'll give you a tour of our channel. I'll go ahead and pop it up here real quick, or our server. We've got, is this thing on my screen? Oh. Sorry about that. Awesome. So, yeah, if you guys want to take a tour of our Discord, we have admin notes. Two of our admins and our analysts post our notes here. We discuss them. We have our power scans, for trading ideas, strong FATAs, exits, a bragging channel. We have leverage and margin trading category, several trading discussion channels, mining talk, master nodes, news bots, and all that. So make sure to get with Woodsy, our current moderator, if you're interested in getting access to the private portion of our Discord. Until next time, guys, thank you for tuning in to Power Hour.